Alright, in this lecture we are going to pull our very first data from the movie database web API, and we are trying to get all kind of information for the movie Star Wars, The Force Awakens. And first of all, let's import pandas and also the requests library. And we define that pandas should display 30 columns. And actually, to get information on a particular movie, we have to know the movie ID. And for Star Wars, The Force Awakens, it's 140607, and we save the ID in the variable movie ID. And second, for authentication purposes, we need a personal API key. And I've already generated my personal API key. So here it is. And if you want to have your own API key, you need to register on the website and request for an API key under settings. And now we have to create the URL for our HTTP request. And first of all, we have to save the authentication fragment. So API key equals, and this is my personal API key. And we save this fragment in the variable API key. So this is a string. Then next we have the general fragment for the movie API. So here the curly brackets are the placeholder for the movie ID, and let's save the general part in the variable movie API. Now we can replace the curly brackets here with the movie ID, and we can do this with format. And then we actually join both fragments into the URL. And this is now our final URL for our HTTP request. And now there are two options. So first of all, we can simply copy the URL and paste into our web browser. And obviously this gives us here the data in JSON format, and here we can see it's the Star Wars collection, and somewhere the title Star Wars The Force Awakens. Now let's go back here. So that's the hands-on approach, but our goal is to automate and to scale the process, and with Python and requests we can do this. And actually we can submit our HTTP request, a so-called GET request, with requests.get, and we have to pass the URL. So let's have a look here inside. And it sends a GET request. And by doing so, we create a response object, and we save the response object in the variable R. And there are actually different response codes. And we can have a look at them on the movie database webpage. And 200 stands for we have no problem. So the authentication worked, and also the movie exists. And now let's get the data, and we can simply use the method JSON on the response object R. So let's have a look here. And JSON returns the JSON encoded content of our response, if there's any. So let's have a look here, and we save the result in the variable data. And this pretty much looks like JSON data. So we have here a dictionary, and obviously then we have the first column adult, false. Then we have budget, genre, original title, Star Wars, The Force Awakens, and so on. And of course, this is a dictionary. And we can try to transform this into a data frame, and this doesn't work. So this is only one row of a data frame actually, but we can pass this to a pd.series and create a panda series. So these are now actually the column labels, and here the values, and then we can simply convert the panda series to a data frame with toFrame, and transpose the data frame and save the result in the variable df. And now we have a pandas data frame with one row for the movie Star Wars. So the budget, the genre, and many more features. So this is nothing new. And again, also here, instead of passing the JSON data to pandas.series or pandas.dataframe, we can also try to pass it to pandas.json normalize. And actually, this should help us to flatten and normalize some columns. And here in the very end, again, we can see that we can successfully normalize and flatten the belongs to collection column and create 4 or 5 different columns. So the ID, the name of the collection, and so on. And still we have nested data here, for instance, in the genre column, or also in the production countries or production companies columns. And also here we can utilize pd.json normalize, and we go deeper, for instance, into the genre column. And still we want to have the title of the movie as meta information. And by doing so, we can create a separate data frame. So here we have all genres of Star Wars. And the same we can also do for production companies for the column here. So also here we want to have some meta information, the title. And also here we create a new data frame with the production companies. So in total we have 3. So we have True North Productions, Lucasfilm, and Bad Robot. All right, this was the first part, and see you also in the next one. Bye.